Thank you for coming in for this interview.
Yeah, no problem.
Just wanted to clarify, I know we kind of talked about it before, but just to reiterate verbally that this is going to be recorded for my class, and the professor and my classmates will be able to view this. And we're going to talk about some personal things in your life and kind of just talk about um, different experiences that you've gone through so far.
Okay.
Is that good?
Yeah.
Okay, cool. Okay, so could you just, talk a little bit about yourself? What's your name? How old are you? What culture do you identify with?
My name is Brock. I'm 32 years old. I identify with American culture,
Okay, yeah.
I guess. Um, I professionally, I'm an electrical engineer.
Cool.
I don't know. I guess like what kind of things are you wanting to know?
Well, no, that's good. I mean, we got some basic information. I want to know. Could you tell us a little bit about your childhood? Would you say that it was something like a traditional childhood? Do you think, or
Yeah, I think so. I mean, I have grew up with both my parents. They were married for my entire childhood. Um, I guess yeah, pretty traditional American. Dad worked, mom stayed at home. I had two brothers. Um, we went to public school together. Yeah, it's just pretty run of the mill kind of stuff, I think.
okay? So could you give a little bit more information about the family dynamics in your home?
Yeah, I guess my brothers and I have a twin brother and then another brother who's just 1 year older. So we were close in age, so we were pretty close in interpersonal ways, I
Yeah.
suppose. So yeah, like we were friends. So you know, we were always just having fun, goofing around and stuff together at home. I get my parents' relationship was I'm gonna say like perfect or anything, but it was pretty good. So like everything was usually pretty calm. Yeah, I think so.
Okay, fair enough. Yeah. So yeah, since you're 80, you're not 80. You're 32.
Yes.
Um, so that means you're in the very beginning of middle adulthood. So your young adulthood ends around like 30.
Oh,
So
this is the first I'm hearing of that. But okay.
so you're technically in the category of middle adulthood, like the very
Yeah.
beginning of that.
Okay.
So what do you think the changes? What are some changes that you've seen through yourself from like when you were in your 20s to now? What do you think is different?
I think quite a lot, really. I think my twenties. I mean, I was in school for most of my twenties. I graduated college when I was 28, 26.
Mm.
I don't know, 2018. Um, and so you know, I was in college for most of that. So it was very typical college student kind of lifestyle of like go to class. I had a crappy job, staying up late studying, eating junk food, stuff like that. Nowadays, uh, I think I'm. I mean, I guess speaking of junk food, I'm definitely more like focused on my health and stuff. I'm more active. I work, make a point to like exercise and diet, stuff like that. I'm actually vegetarian, which I definitely was not in college. Um, I I think my twenties were also pretty. I was kind of, I guess you could say, a bit of a shut in. Most of my hobbies or I guess I really just had one hobby, which was playing video games on a computer, which I still do, but I do things besides that now. I get out of the house. I did have friends. They were all online, but now I have friends, uh, both online and in person. Funnily enough, most of my online friends in my 20s now are in person friends in my 30s because we all live in the same city now. Yeah, I think I would say I always hated the term like coming out of your shell, but
Mm-hmm.
it always felt like a little I don't know, like dismissive or something. But I guess it's not an totally inaccurate term to apply to how I've changed.
So, since you have spoken about coming out of your shell more so now in your like late 20s, early 30s,
Mm-hmm.
um, what does it what does that feel like to, because a lot of people might experience this when they go to college maybe.
Mm-hmm.
um, so what is, I mean, how did you feel whenever you had called, as you said, if you called yourself a shut-in, how would you, like, what was that transition like?
I don't know. It kind of just happened. I don't know that it was necessarily something I like set out to do. I just after I graduated college and I moved here to Austin, the people who I knew online happened to live here, so it kind of just made sense to hang out in person and become like I don't know, meet space friends. I hate that term, but so I guess it just kind of felt natural, you know. Just I mean, we just went from talking to each other through the internet to talking to each other through you know sound, I guess.
Yeah. So what adjustments have you had to make in your life up to this point? I know that you've talked about nutrition.
Mm-hmm.
Why did you make that transition over to focusing on your health?
Um, I guess I never really had like a concept of like my health and like my body and stuff. Just, I mean, you're young, you're invincible, you don't give a shit. But just when I, graduated and I had a couple of health scares that largely turned out to be nothing, but um, that just kind of makes you like aware of it, especially also when like I'm paying for it and it's like I don't want to have to call an ambulance again, kind of thing. So
Mm-hmm.
yeah.
Yeah. Okay. Are there any other adjustments that you think that you've made going into this new age of your life?
I think a big one would be I would say I wasn't at all like looking to date or have any like romantic relationships in my young adulthood. I suppose I was very much a lone wolf kind of type. I was like, I have my space and it's for just me. I have my time and it's for just me. So I think moving towards wanting to share my life with people in a more intimate way outside of just like friends and stuff. That's been an adjustment. I've had to be more willing to give up my time for other people, which not to say I was like selfish or greedy or anything, but it was like my free time is for me, but now it's like, well, now I'm more willing to share with other people, and I mean, you get obviously things back for that, and yeah.
So does that also apply to family?
Uh, I would say no. uh, my relationship with my family, I think, has gotten yeah, I guess worse is maybe the right word
Okay.
in my adulthood, just because I've realized that a lot of the things that was going on in my family weren't, or that a lot of the things people in my family do are just things that I don't really like want to deal with or stand for. So, you know, um, I kind of don't subscribe to the like blood is thicker than water. Like, I don't really care if they're my family. If they're, you know, if I don't want to be around them, then I just will choose not to.
Okay. That's an interesting way of putting it, of the blood is thicker than water, just the idea that you're choosing who to share your time with
Yeah.
as opposed to feeling obligated.
Yeah. Exactly.
Okay. Um, so, what are some of the challenges do you think that you've faced as you've come into this new part of your life?
I think a big one would be I lost my dad a couple years back. I guess by the exact definition, I was still in young adulthood when it happened. It was almost 7 years ago now. But it kind of happened when I was starting to, like I've since then I've changed jobs and bought a house and stuff like that, and those were all things that having a I guess it's not necessarily has to be your dad, but just a parent that can give you advice on those things. Because my dad was always the one who interacted with the financial side of things growing up. So not having someone to turn to for advice was for big life events like that, where it was quite a struggle because it kind of feels like I was just like out here flying blind. And I think I made some subpar decisions along those lines, just because I was doing it for the first time. But it's part of me also like feels proud because I did it myself, and I know what I've learned from it now, and so maybe I could provide that advice to someone else whenever I didn't get it.
Okay. So, what would you say after the loss of your father? How did that impact your relationship with your mother?
It made it. It definitely changed things. My parents got divorced like 8 months before he passed, and it was a pretty. What's the word? It wasn't a mutual decision, and so like in that short period between their divorce and my dad's death, he made sure to like change all the legal documents so my mom like didn't really get anything, and so after his passing, there was a really awkward period where like me and my two brothers are like the sole heir to all his everything he has, and then my mom is feeling really hurt because I do think she had like a rightful claim to some of those things just because she helped him build that life, and then he kind of just cut her out at the last second. So like there's like the pretty awkward period of her going around and being like, well, I want this, I want that, and us having to be like, well, it's actually not yours to decide what to do with. And so I mean, of course we did let her be part of the process, but it was like all of a sudden we have to hold the reins, and I think post divorce and then death, my mom was kind of on her own for the first time in a long time. Like I said, my dad was the breadwinner, and she was the homemaker, and so now she had to like get a job and stuff like that, and that was all very new for, not 100% new, but she hadn't done it in a long time.
Right. Yeah.
And so it was kind of like the roles flipped, and my brothers and I had to like kind of parent her a little bit and be like, no, you have to get a job. No, I know you wanted to live in a nice big house, but you can't afford that. Stuff like that. So it's kind of weird.
Yeah, I mean that's got to be difficult to have that role reversal, and it happened so quickly.
Yeah.
As well, that I can't even imagine. That must have been really difficult.
Yeah, it was, and I think still is to this day. Yeah.
So, based on that, what are the things that you focus on for the future now? Like, what is something that you, at 32, what are the things that are, in your line of vision that you're focusing on?
That's a good question. I'm pretty set on like not having kids or anything like that, and so I think in lieu of like being able to focus on that and raising children to have a good life, I guess it's focusing on making sure that I just can look back on my years and not and feel like that I did the things I wanted to do, and like don't. I mean, there's obviously going to be regrets and stuff, but I want to be able to at least be like, well, at least I tried, So like one thing is I've been wanting to go back to school for a while now, basically since I left school, and I think so like being able to make that happen, which is complicated because now I have like a mortgage to pay, and so I can't be a full-time student. How do I work? Stuff like that. So figuring all that out has been something that's keeping me from doing it. But I think just giving it a good shot, so I can say like, well, at least I tried. Not living with like what ifs and stuff like that.
Yeah. Yeah, that makes sense. Did I kind of want to touch back on what you said about not having children? Did you feel a lot of pressure to have children, or was that because I know that there are, when you're around in your 30s, that becomes there is a lot of societal pressure
Yeah.
to have the family, the white picket fence, all of that kind of thing. Did you feel pressure with that?
I not really. I mean, like, my mom definitely wants me to have kids. But outside of that, no. I mean, a lot of my friends are starting to have kids, and it is like just starting. So it's honestly makes me feel pretty safe in my decision because you see all your friends having newborn babies, and you're like, God, I'm so glad that's not me. Will that change when they're a little bit older? Maybe. But until then, I can say that no, I don't really feel that much pressure, and it's also kind of easy just because the I don't know, like the financial situation sort of at large is really difficult, and so like I mean I think I do pretty well for myself, but imagining like having to pay for like 2 more kids, it's like I don't shit I don't know if I could do that kind of thing.
There's a lot of financial strain with it.
Yeah, exactly.
Understandable. Yeah.
Yeah.
Okay. Well, that concludes our interview. So I just want to say thank you for being here and being open to sharing your experience, and I appreciate your time.
Yeah, no problem.
All right. Thank you.
You're welcome.